Wood products such as boards and panels are common siding materials, but they're combustible and they're not the best choice for fire-prone areas. Some of these materials may even be prohibited for new construction. Use non-combustible siding materials such as stucco or cement board. The uncovered underside of eaves can be vulnerable spots. Preferably cover the underside of open eaves with non-combustible sheathing, such as cement board or 5/8" thick high-grade plywood. Decks composed of combustible materials such as redwood are of particular concern. Wood plastic composite decking materials are also considered combustible. Always keep wood decks in good condition. Replace old deteriorated boards and keep the gaps between boards free of combustible debris such as pine needles and twigs. Embers can lodge between deck boards, ignite the debris, and possibly the boards themselves. Fire-resistant decking materials will soon be available to homeowners. Consider replacing your existing combustible deck materials with these fire-resistant types. The presence of combustible materials underneath the deck is a major concern. Keep the area underneath the deck free of all easily combustible materials like pine needles, weeds, and debris. Check this area often. Do not store combustible materials like wood lattice, other wood products, cardboard, paper, or gasoline under the deck. Consider covering the sides of low decks with fire-resistant materials, or at the very least, cover them with 1/4 inch or smaller wire mesh. This will reduce the need to keep removing flammable debris from under the deck and may stop embers from getting in. Enclosing the underside of the deck may increase the amount of land coverage on your property and may require a permit. Check with the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. Also, if you enclose the deck with solid materials, make sure you provide adequate ventilation. Windows are one of the weakest parts of a house. They often break before the house ignites. This lets burning embers and heat get inside the home, which may lead to internal ignition. Single-paned and large windows are especially vulnerable. In high fire hazard areas, install windows that are at least double-paned and contain tempered glass, especially on the external pane. The outer glass pane of this window cracked during the Angora fire, but the inside pane was unaffected. The type of window frame material used, whether it's vinyl reinforced with metal, wood, or aluminum, is not as important as the type of glass used. Chimney and stovepipe openings should have an approved spark arrestor cap. Keep the porch, deck, and other areas of the home free of easily combustible materials, such as baskets, dried flower arrangements, newspapers, pine needles, and debris. Wood trellises could transport a fire from your flower bed to your house. Replace them with metal types. Wooden fences can carry a fire from a burning forest right to the house. If a wooden fence is attached to the house, replace at least 5 feet of fence nearest the house with a non-combustible section of fencing or a non-combustible gate. The term defensible space refers to the area between a house and an oncoming wildfire, where the vegetation has been managed to reduce the threat of wildfire and to allow firefighters to safely defend the house. In the event that firefighters are not available, defensible space also improves the likelihood of a house surviving without help. The defensible space zone is comprised of 3 areas: the non-combustible area, the lean, clean, and green area, and the wildland fuel reduction area. Within 5 feet of the house and deck, create a non-combustible area. During a wildfire, burning embers tend to accumulate next to the house. If they land on something combustible, it can ignite and threaten the home. This is of particular concern for wood-sided houses. This area consists of non-combustible landscaping materials and small ignition-resistant plants. Within the non-combustible area, rock and gravel are good choices. Stone, concrete, brick, and pavers are good choices as well, but may increase the coverage values for your property. Check with the TRPA to find out if this is an issue. Good plant choices for the non-combustible area include specimens or small groups of deciduous shrubs less than 18 inches tall, ground covers, and herbaceous plants like flowers and succulents. clover, and erosion-controlled grasses. Plants in this area should be watered during fire season. Lawn is another good choice for the non-combustible area. However, lawn does have its drawbacks, including high water and maintenance requirements. Don't place shrubs in front of foundation vents, directly under eave vents, or below first-floor windows. Shrubs should also be pruned to prevent branches from touching the ground or the side of the house. There should not be any wood or dead vegetation within the non-combustible area. This includes fallen pine needles, pine cones and dried leaves, dead shrubs and trees, dry grasses and flowers, and wood or bark mulches. Remove firewood stacks and relocate them at least 30 feet from the house. Replace wood boards and landscape timbers used to enclose flower beds with non-combustible materials, such as stone, brick, or concrete, or relocate them to beyond the 5-foot boundary. In addition, remove hazardous live plants from this area. This includes most native shrubs like greenleaf manzanita and bitterbrush, trees, and ornamental evergreen shrubs like tam juniper. Create a lean, clean, and green area extending from 5 feet to at least 30 feet from the house. For most Lake Tahoe Basin homeowners, the lean, clean, and green area is the residential landscape. This area is usually irrigated, contains ornamental plants, and is routinely maintained. The goal for this area is to create a landscape that will not carry fire from the wild land to the house or vice versa. It should emphasize the use of non-combustible landscape materials and ignition-resistant plants. Fallen pine needles should not be present within the lean, clean, and green area during fire season. Fallen pine needles are one of the most flammable materials present in Tahoe's forest. They ignite easily and they burn rapidly. Rake up and remove pine needles each spring by May 1st. Needles that fall afterward can accumulate on the ground as long as they do not create a fire hazard. Wood and bark mulches can be used in the lean, clean, and green area, but not in a widespread manner. Areas of wood or bark mulches should be separated by non-combustible areas, such as lawn, gravel, or irrigated flower beds. Remove dead plants from this area, including dead trees and shrubs, dead branches, and dried grass and flowers. Many of Tahoe's native shrubs can burn intensely. Remove most or all native shrubs like greenleaf manzanita, bitterbrush, huckleberry oak, and big sagebrush. However, some native shrubs are less threatening, like currant and red-stem dogwood. You can keep individual shrubs or small groups of shrubs as long as you keep them healthy, keep them pruned to reduce their height and their overall size, and as long as they cannot carry fire to the house. Naturally occurring ground covers and low-growing shrubs like mahala mat and pine mat manzanita are excellent plants to keep. They don't pose much of a fire threat, and they're good at preventing soil erosion. Emphasize the use of less hazardous plants in the lean, clean, and green area, such as lawn, erosion-controlled grasses, irrigated flowers, ground covers, and short deciduous shrubs. Ornamental evergreen shrubs such as tam juniper should not be within the lean, clean, and green area. These plants are best used in places more than 30 feet from the house. Healthy deciduous trees can be used if there's at least a 10-foot separation between the branch tips and the house, and if they cannot convey a fire to the house. When selecting landscape plants for use in the defensible space zone, be sure to use plants recommended for the Lake Tahoe Basin. A list of these plants can be found in the Home Landscaping Guide for Lake Tahoe and vicinity. This publication is available from your University of Nevada Cooperative Extension Office and Conservation Districts.